Good morning, everybody. I've got a very special guest with me today, Ellen, who completed our Lean Six Sigma Green Belt course not that long ago, and she absolutely ran with it. Not only she did complete the course and aced the exam, but she also took one of the most notorious tools in the Lean Six Sigma toolkit, the DFMEA, and made it work for her business. So we're talking new process, we are talking new mindset, and around 60K worth of cost savings annually, if I'm not mistaken. So first of all, Ellen, massive congratulations and thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having me and thank you for everything that you've taught me. It's been really, really fun.
Well, let's start at the beginning then. What made you sign up for the Lean Six Sigma training in the first place? What were you hoping to get out of it?
So I signed up for the Lean Six Sigma Green Belt course because I wanted to build a stronger foundation in process improvement and data-driven problem solving. I had some previous experience with lean methodologies from my university course, but this was a lot more in depth and showed me practical tools which could be applied directly to my work. Being in a design team, I was particularly interested in learning how to identify inefficiencies and sort of within our design process, um, reduce any waste that we had and improve quality in like a measured, structured way.
Fair enough. Now, don't get me wrong, but the DFMEA isn't usually the tool people choose for their first improvement project. It's one of those things that people talk about a lot, but very
Mhm.
rarely implement properly. So, what made you go, yep, this is the one I'm going to do?
Yeah, so once we covered the FMEA tool in the course, I was pretty convinced that it was something that we should have already been doing for like a long time. It could have been a great help within our design process. Um, I realized that using this tool would help us identify like potential failure modes upfront before a product has launched and sort of take preventative action rather than just constantly firefighting. Um, it's something that's going to help reduce the need for a lot of reworking in the future, which is something that we do and highlights things that we wouldn't have seen before in the past. So, yes, definitely something that I saw and I was like, why haven't we been doing this before? Such an obvious thing to do.
I was going to ask you about a situation before you implemented, but you made it very clear on what you were facing as a team and a company before the implementation of DFMEA. So once you started the implementation, what happened? What were the moments that sort of stuck with you? What were the pushbacks, any wins? How did the team respond to your initial attempts to effectively put it inside the business and make it part of the business culture and the wide business processes?
Yeah. So before we introduced DFMEI, things like I said were a little bit more reactive and firefighty. We were usually dealing with like recurring quality issues and like process breakdowns, and we didn't have like a structured way to identify risks ahead of time.
Hmm.
Problems were often caught us by surprise, and the fixes were usually a little bit more rushed than was ideal. So we started running an example, DFMEA. We started just with a product that was in the design development phase.
Hmm.
And I included the whole design team. And we talked through every potential failure mode that we could have thought of. And even by doing that, it sparked like loads of valuable conversations that we weren't having before. People, like you said, people started seeing risks from different angles. There wasn't necessarily any pushback, but I think a lot of people were sort of thinking, do we need to think about it from like in this
Pretty
amount
much.
of depth? But I was like, yes, everything that you can think of, put it in. And yeah, in the end, we had some like really clear wins. So there's like better communication, fewer surprises during that particular product launch, and a sort of probably stronger sense of ownership around like quality. Um, and I think it's probably going to help. We've only implemented this recently, but it's going to help us move to less of reactive fixes and more like proactive planning. So yeah, it's something that's been really it's taken up really well by the whole team. And it's been really, really useful. Yeah. Something that we probably should have been doing a long time ago.
Well, this is why I said earlier in our chat that a lot of people would talk about FMEA, either the design or process of FMEA, but not very many of them would actually go to the lens of the implementation of the process. So you've done it, and the impact, in my particular opinion, is pretty solid. I mean, 60K a year on cost saving, in cost savings, it's not insignificant. I think we spoke about it offline the other day. You said that you're
Hmm.
running a redesign or review of one large project and around four smaller projects every year,
Hmm.
and with the FMEA and the changes that you've implemented, that will be the approximate cost saving on those
Yeah.
redesigns or reviews. But apart from the budget, from the monetary gains, was there anything else that it's worth mentioning as a step change, something that became visibly better after your project has been successfully launched?
Yeah, I mean the monetary value is amazing, but I think one of the things, the biggest changes we've seen is how we think about risk and quality. So before the project, a lot of our decisions were very reactive, like I've said, but after implementing DFMEA, there was a really nice shift towards being more proactive and really just finding the problems before we launched it. I'd say communication was like a big win for us too. So getting
Hmm.
different departments involved earlier in the process and not, just telling them after something's launched. And it sort of helped reduce like misunderstandings and like later stage changes. So yeah, it just helped create this like good continuous improvement culture that hopefully will like continue on in the future, and it's something that we can like continuously build upon. So yeah, it's been amazing.
It's music to my ears, I don't have to say. But let's rewind for a second, back to
Yeah,
the course for a moment. You went through all the modules, all the live sessions, and then we had
yeah.
our one-to-one coaching time when we went through the progress you were making on the project itself. Was there anything from that support that helped you to take the FMEA from theory to practice, and that you may want to share with the audience?
Yeah, definitely. I think the combination of having the modules and the one-to-one really helped. I think maybe because this was maybe more of a practical solution, but really helped me understand it and apply it to our business in a way that suited us. So the modules gave you like a really solid foundation and broke down every process really clearly. But definitely, like I said, those one-to-one sessions is where everything clicked. I was able to ask specific questions
Hmm.
about DFMEA and how that applied to our design process. And sort of you just helped coach me through that real life scenario. So yeah, definitely that helped me give the confidence to be able to go away and like run these meetings. And it's something that we've never done before, but yeah, it was great. Yeah. And just not just follow a template as well, like be able to apply it to our particular scenario. So yeah, it was brilliant. Yeah,
Well,
definitely
I
would
feel amazing now.
recommend.
You've made my day. So just to wrap this all up, if if someone from another company, came to see you and said, I'm thinking of doing the Lean Six Sigma thing, but I'm not sure, what would you tell them? How would you advise them to give it a go? What would you tell them as a selling story for them to give it a try?
Yeah, I'd say it's definitely worth it. It gives you like a structured way to solve problems, create change, and it's not just about like theory. You get a lot of practical tools that can be applied to your business. I'd say try it with like a real project in mind. That's where it really clicked with me, and it really you can show real value when you apply it to like a real world scenario. So yeah, definitely give it a go. It was definitely a great thing that I've done. Yeah, would recommend.
Alan, thank you very much. Seriously, I mean, you have taken something that people would often see as too advanced, and you made it practical and profitable. So you've done all the hard work, and I know that both your team and your company will keep benefiting from it. So thanks again for sharing your story. Thank you again for being here with us. I wish you all the best in the future endeavors, and who knows, maybe our paths will cross again. I wouldn't be surprised if they will. So yeah, once again, I appreciate your presence here today, and sharing the awareness of the Lean Six Sigma with a wider audience.
Thank you very much. Yeah, appreciate that. Yeah, it's been a great experience and I'm glad I could share what I've learned. Yeah, thank you again.